your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
Neurons to Nirvana fuses science, art, and spirituality into one documentary. The controversy discussed in this movie is the usage of psychedelic drugs as medicine in modern psychiatry. They discuss 5 powerful psychedelic substances including LSD, psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms, MDMA or ecstasy, ayahuasca, and cannabis, and their potential medicinal value. Hallucinogens have been portrayed as a dangerous invitation for abuse. In reality, more deaths occur each year from the use of simple pain relievers than from all illegal drugs combined. Of all the deaths caused by illegal drugs, the vast majority are from using street narcotics and almost none due to psychedelics.
In the 1960s, LSD was believed to make people more aware of the world around them and see outside of the box. It allowed for people to gain new ideas and see past culturally imposed values. For the first time, people started to question the government's regulations and embrace a new realm of possibilities. In order to ban a drug, the government has to paint a negative picture in the minds of all citizens, and that negative picture being the fear that you can become addicted to it. Although it is impossible to become physically dependent on LSD, the idea that LSD could be addictive had kept from discovering its true benefits in psychiatry.
A new report in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences suggests that the key ingredient in magic mushrooms, psilocybin, may be the perfect aid for certain mental disorders. Early research has shown that psilocybin is helpful for terminally ill cancer patients dealing with anxiety and possibly people with severe forms of depression.
Psychedelics were one of the keys to the Cultural Revolution in the 1960s. Social barriers that took place in society were gone when people took psychedelics. They saw unity between others who took the same drugs. It broke the social bias because cultural barriers were diminished. It gave people a sense that all is one and there should be no division between people. Since the mystical experience that occurs when psilocybin is taken is unitive, it allows you to identify with people that you normally wouldn't. There is a core element that binds us together that is deeper than our skin color, sexual orientation, country, religion, gender, which supported an interconnectedness of all people and things. That experience is accompanied by the sense that the experience at its core is more true and real than everyday life. During the Cultural Revolution, people felt motivated to become active in the civil rights movement, the anti-war movement, the women's rights movement, and the environmental movement. How does psilocybin work in the brain? It has the ability to stop blood flow to certain parts of the brain. Those parts of the brain are what controls the ways in which we process information. When blood flow is turned off in those areas, it allows for a liberation of the rest of the brain, which explains the occurrence of an expansion of consciousness and perception. Because of prohibition, the drugs available on the street are substitute drugs, so you don't truly know what you are taking, instead of a controlled medical or therapeutic setting. That is a problem with the way drugs are approached in society. People don't learn about using things in a safe way. MDMA is unique in psychiatry in that it is not a hallucinogen. It is an immediate-acting antidepressant. There is a great need for new medications that psychedelics could potentially be used as. It allows for people to be more emotionally open, empathetic, and trustworthy towards others.
Another unique thing about MDMA is that it induces, in most people, this sort of a heart opening and a sense of connectedness and empathy with other people. That may be because it enhances oxytocin release in the brain.
Indigenous people of South America have used ayahuasca as a cure to their psycho-spiritual ills. Ayahuasca is a psychoactive plant medicine that is taken in a liquid form during religious rituals as a teaching mechanism. It is a sacred plant from the Amazon used to heal their minds and spirits.
Nuestra identidad como nativos es que somos hijos de plantas sagradas que venimos trabajando en favor de la humanidad, de que todos somos uno.
After taking ayahuasca, you see incredible images and learn how to live life in a new perspective. The shaman's description of the experience they face after drinking ayahuasca is an out-of-body adventure. In cultures where ayahuasca is used, It is not used lightly and is not necessarily an enjoyable experience. It is used in a very respectful way with elders and shamans, and people who know how to use it guide you in an appropriate environment.
Marijuana, the dried leaves and flowers of the Indian hempweed, is used in the form of a cigarette. Marijuana smoking, experts point out, can make a helpless addict of its victim within weeks, causing physical and moral ruin and death. Should you ever be confronted with the temptation of taking that first puff of a marijuana cigarette, don't do it.
Cannabis is made up of hundreds of compounds with significant therapeutic value and has been around since the 1800s. Cannabidiol is a relaxant found in marijuana to relieve stress and anxiety and promote sleep. It is a disgrace that people are so harshly penalized for growing cannabis for its medical purpose. The government is hypocritical in banning the research of the benefits of marijuana. An example of the benefits of marijuana is shown in one case involving an autistic child. Some may believe that using cannabis as a treatment for ailmented children sounds extreme, but one case showed that it took only a few months of treatment of cannabis in a liquid form to see a dramatic change in their autistic son, who suffered from severe seizures. The boy went from brutally hurting himself and bloodying his face to, in just 1 hour after taking the medication, playing with toys and being happier. It is a detriment to many patients throughout the country that cannabis is listed as a Schedule I substance under federal law, making it harder for patients to get hold of the beneficial substance. Mental illnesses such as depression are classified as chemical imbalances in the brain. Pharmaceutical companies want you to be on corporate drugs. The government's idea of banning these psychedelic drugs is just creating a black market for individuals to build a business off of a government-prohibited substance. It is difficult to push for psychedelics to become similar to a pharmaceutical drug in the world of medicine because it is a therapeutic experience that doctors and therapists would need to sit down and assess people for their exact prescription of what they need based on their mental state. Scientists are interested in the potential of these psychedelic drugs in a medical sense. They are pushing to do the research on them in order to prove their possible risks or benefits. The ban of these drugs is ripping people away from their own land and history and sense of nature. The decisions that our government makes about the usage of psychedelic drugs as a treatment for serious medical problems are based on old prohibitionist ways of thinking rather than scientific evidence.